Hello everyone, so my name is Blanche. I work for Zephyr Surgical Implants, the Swiss company that is manufacturing surgical devices for transgender surgeries. So I'm French, I'm speaking from south of France now. We are in confinement for 1 more month at least. And so we are improving these moments for to propose some live presentations and some doctors' interviews. So forgive my English accent and my French accent speaking English, and also some vocabulary errors that I can make because I'm only speaking French in the past weeks. So hopefully it will be understandable. I hope there are people over there. I see Marie-Sophie is my co-worker. She is present. So hi, thank you for being here. So I will be presenting the company and also the devices we manufacture for transgender surgeries. You are absolutely welcome to write me some comments and ask any questions you will have. I will see them on the screen, so I will be able to answer them. Also, we received some questions, so I will be answering them in this live. This live also will be available on the Facebook page of Zephyr and probably later on YouTube channel, so you will be able to see it completely. So the Zephyr Surgical Implants is a Swiss company. It is 13 years old now, and so it's based in Switzerland, and we have workers from all over the world. So for example, my co-worker, who is the person in charge of all the social medias, she's in Buenos Aires right now, Argentina. And so I'm from France, and we have some other people in other countries right now. So the company started 13 years ago to create a device for urinary incontinence. And generally with this kind of problem, there are some erectile dysfunction problems that face the people. So we developed some erectile dysfunction devices for cis men. And so let me show you how it looks like, and probably most of you know this kind of product. So this is a device made of 2 cylinders, a pump unit, and a reservoir that is inserted inside the penis. And this is the kind of device we use actually, we used until now for to insert inside phalloplasties. So generally we use this kind of device, so inflatable device or malleable device, which is like this, which is a rod made of silicone, or this one, made of silicone and inner cable, inner rod to able to have erectile function in the penis. So until now, we've been using this kind of cis-men device to insert inside phalloplasties. So what could be done? Because actually, this is made of 2 cylinders, because the native penis is made of 2 cavernous bodies. So we need, and inside these cavernous bodies, we have the blood going in and out to have the erection and have a flaccid state. So this is why we have two cylinders, one to put inside each cavernous bodies. But the phalloplasty is made of one only tunnel, let's say. So the phalloplasty is not composed of 2 cavernous bodies. It's like a big one. So having 2 rods inside or 2 cylinders inside can create some problems. First of all, it can be very big when it is inflated inside the phalloplasty, and also as it is not inside of cavernous bodies, it can be seen through the skin and can be anesthetic. Also, it can move inside the phalloplasty with the use, so it's quite uncomfortable for several reasons. Also, this part, which is what we call the proximal part. It is placed as close as possible from the body on the pubic bone. So generally what doctors do, they suture this part. I hope the sun is not too heavy and you can see it. Let me know if you don't see well the screen, please. So the surgeons used to place this part on the pubic bone, and but actually this is troubling. This part is quite pointy, and it can be very painful sometimes at the scrotal level, because whenever you sit, you can feel this, and sometimes you have extrusion of this part from the neoscrotum, because it is not kept inside the cavernous bodies. So all of these reasons make this kind of device quite uncomfortable for trans men. And also what is generally done if a phalloplasty is quite tight, it is that one only cylinder is used. So what is done is that here, you see, this is the prosthesis. So here we cut, we cut one tube, and we just leave one cylinder and implant one only cylinder. It's okay. It can be a good option, because in this case we avoid the effect of double cylinder. We avoid the effect of cylinders moving, cylinders stopping working. But the problem is that the cylinder might not be something strange is happening on the page. It's fine. The cylinder might not be completely filling in the phalloplasty, and it might look very tight inside a bigger phalloplasty. So it's not a perfect option, actually. So what Zephyr did after creating this kind of device for trans men, after creating this kind of device for cis men, we proposed to create a device specially designed for trans men. So actually, in order to compensate all the troubles that this kind of cis men device were causing, we proposed this device. Let me take out all the water. 1 second, it's coming. So there are several sizes of this device. I just have the biggest size with me. So this is the device made for trans men. So this is a unique cylinder with a fixation plate, you see. And then you have only one tube going until the pump unit, which is the pump unit is made the size of testis prosthesis, and then we have the reservoir. So this device is way more adapted to a phalloplasty, because this part is the pubic plate is directly sutured on the pubic bone, and it is made with, you see here, it is made in a special way that the device actually can be well adapted. We can move this part. Actually, the doctor, when he is inserting this, he can manipulate the plate in order to cover well the how do you say, the pubic bone, to really be completely on the pubic bone, and not risking the plate to move on the pubic bone and be not so well attached. Also, so we have one unique cylinder, and you see the difference with this. It's that the size, I don't know if you see it, this is a flaccid, and the size of the cylinder is completely different. I mean, the diameter is really different. The diameter of this device is way wider than one only diameter of this cis-men device. Also, we have a preformed, pre-shaped glands. So you see it's a glands made of silicone, and there is a special access for the urethra if there is urethra lengthening. So it's quite comfortable to have this kind of device. Also, whenever you have questions, please pop up. There is absolutely no problem. And if you have questions later on about this device, no problem also. So I will show you how to inflate and deflate it. So it's quite simple. The surgeon implants the pubic plate on the pubic bone. This is in the neoscrotum, and so you don't need to have two testis prostheses with the device. You just need this pump unit as also a testis and another testis to have an equilibrated scrotum. So to use this device, actually, you just pump, and it's already functioning up. You can see it slowly, little by little, actually, all the saline solution which is inside of the device, of the reservoir, will pass through this pump unit and go inside this cylinder. This is a huge cylinder, actually, it's 22 centimeters. So it takes some time to be inflated. Here it is. Now I cannot pump anymore. The pump unit is very hard, so I can't pump anymore. And this is how it is when it is inflated. It's quite big. The erection is quite hard, actually, and the resistance is very important. So there is no problem for the penetration, actually. So it's a very good device. The cylinder is made of three. How do you call it? 3 different layers. So it is giving a very big rigidity, and also having 3 layers allows the device to be completely straight and not losing, how could I say, being very straight. It doesn't allow the device to have a strange shape, because with some other kind of devices, the shape can be strange after some time of use, and sometimes we have devices with some very weird angles. So the fact that there are 3 layers allows the device to keep straight. So now let's have it deflated. So I press these valves here, and I keep them pressed until all the water goes back to the reservoir. So it takes some time, but now it's almost, yeah, that's it. That's it. It's completely flaccid. And if I want it completely flaccid, we don't have to do that with a phalloplasty, but you can do like this with another hand, gently, and you can see a completely flaccid device. So the device is inserted inside the phalloplasty, and the size, the length of the device in the phalloplasty is the same length as the phalloplasty itself. It means that there will not be, as a native penis, let's say, there will not be an elongation. The device only allows to have an erection, but not to have a larger or bigger penis. But it's already a very good help for to have a good erection. Also, coming back here on this, the pump unit, actually here, we used to have a pump unit like any other inflatable device, which is a regular small pump unit that has to be hidden inside a native scrotum. So you have the both testes and this, quite small, to avoid to have the impression to have 3 testes. But in our case of phalloplasty, we decided to put a small membrane. I don't know if you can see it well. Yeah. So here is the pump unit, and here, this is a membrane made of silicone, very flexible one, in order to have it filled in during the surgery. There is a small septum here, and the surgeon fills it in with a needle. So you fill it in order to have a scrotum that is quite equal in between both testes. So you choose, for example, a medium-size silicone testis, and you fill this membrane so you have a good equilibrium in the scrotum. I will move because the sun here. Yeah. So this is for the malleable device, the inflatable device. Sorry, we have 4 sizes: 12, 15, 18, and 21 centimeters of length. You can note that actually we have many questions about the length, because people tell us, for example, oh, I have a 10 centimeters phalloplasty, so I will not be able to have your device. This is not true, because actually when someone is measuring his phalloplasty, he's measuring the outside part, the outer part of the phalloplasty. But what he's not calculating is the inner part from the basis until the pubic bone. And here you can calculate 2 to 3 centimeters. So when it is implanted, actually, the device, here you could imagine that the outer phalloplasty would reach here. This would be, or maybe this would be the outside part. And all of this would be the inner part. So it means that if you have, for example, a 10 centimeters phalloplasty, it means that the 12 centimeter device could be implanted. I'm talking about the inflatable device. So length is not a problem, except for very special cases. So don't be scared that it will not fit the phalloplasty, because in general, the measures and the decision of these lengths have been taken according to the general length of phalloplasty. What can I say more about the length? That's it. About the malleable device, it is the same kind of device as we just saw, but it is malleable or semi-rigid. It means that instead of having a 3 parts implant, which is cylinder, pump unit, and reservoir, we just have one very simple rod, but with the same kind of plate. Well, the plate of this one is like an X, so it's a bit different from the other one, you see. But it is very malleable, and you have the holes for the screws or the sutures. So it is made of silicone, and inside there is a rod. This is a very short rod, but actually the rod is bigger. It's more like this. What we did is 2 different kind of sizes. So we have, so they all have 25 centimeters of length, and the surgeon, during the surgery, he dissects the phalloplasty, he makes the measurements, and then he decides, for example, he needs 17 centimeters. So he will take this device, he will take out the cap, you see, and then he will cut the silicone until wherever is needed to have the perfect length. And then he will put back the cap, and that's it. So we decided to make 2 different kinds of malleable devices. One is completely round. You can see here. Let's see, camera here. Yes, it's completely circular, and it is 13 millimeters of diameter, because some phalloplasties are quite tight, and this kind of device cannot enter well. So this device is 13 millimeters. It's called the narrow malleable one. And we make this one also, which is, it has this kind of shape. It is made the same. So we have the plate. This is an old version. I'm sorry, I don't have everything here. The rest is at the office, but I can't go. So we have a pubic plate, the rod inside, and then the silicone that we can cut. And here, so this is 22 millimeters of diameter, so it's a bit wider, but it is not completely circular. You see, it's quite oval. I don't know how you say it in English, I'm sorry. And we have two different kinds of tips. So we have one tip which is quite small and yeah, it doesn't have any special shape actually. See? And we have another one which is gland shapes. Sorry, like this. It is gland shapes. So there is this kind of bigger part here, and also we have a part for the urethra to be inserted if needed. So actually the surgeon, according to the shape of the phalloplasty, can decide which kind of shape is more appropriate. Also for this device, the inflatable one, uh, from probably 2021, because now the situation makes that everything is a little bit postponed, we will hopefully have removable glands for this kind of device, and then the surgeon will be able to choose if he wants a pre-shaped glands or a regular glands, a regular tip, because sometimes the phalloplasty is not wide enough at the tip to have this kind of device inserted. Also, you can note that this glans is made of full silicone and it can be reshaped. The other day I was interviewing a French doctor about the implantation of this device, and he was explaining that sometimes he redesigns the glands, cutting the silicone actually during the surgery to have it perfectly entering in the narrow phalloplasties. So this is for inflatable and malleable devices. So this is for phalloplasty. Also, let me come back to the malleable rod. Actually, so the surgeon can choose the length, and also he can choose the length actually. So about the questions people can have about the length. Sometimes some patients contact us and tell us, well, I have the feeling that the length is too short inside the phalloplasty and that there is some extra skin in the phalloplasty and it's not helping so much to have intercourse. Actually, the surgeon, when he or she implants the device, it is always safer to keep a part of skin in the phalloplasty, like a cushion, in order to protect the phalloplasty. Because for intercourse, sometimes the penetration will have the skin be really worked, and sometimes it can create frictions here at the tip of any kind of device. And with so many frictions, it can create erosion, and so this is quite dangerous, and it can lead to extrusion of the device. So this is not what we want. So what we want is the device to be kept inside the body and the phalloplasty. So this is why sometimes patients can have the impression that there is a too small implant implanted inside the phalloplasty, but it's not the case actually. And you can note that also they tell us, well, sometimes I have to grab my penis in order to have intercourse to help. Actually, I don't have the numbers, but the majority of men use their hand for intercourse. So no worries, no problem. This is for phalloplasty. I'll change because too much sun here in the south of France. So if you have any questions, please feel free. So here I have questions about this device, and then I will talk about the metoidioplasty devices we have, and also the vaginoplasty device. US. Actually, for now, you know that in the US, you need to be able to import a device, any kind of device, you need FDA, Food and Drug Administration authorization of importation. We don't have FDA for now because we didn't apply for it. Hopefully in the future we will, but you never know. So you keep having faith that we will be available. But we are available in very close by countries, and also we have very great skilled surgeons. Um, Very great skilled surgeons out of America, out of United States, who speak very good English, who are very trained, very experienced, and able to welcome some foreign patients. So, for example, this is a teasing for Thursday. Thursday, I will welcome Dr. Sigurd Johnson from Iceland. He's working between Iceland and Sweden to implant these devices. So he will tell us about his way to work. So no, we are not present in the US. We are present in South America and in Europe, basically, and also in some countries of Asia. What kind of other questions did I have? The attach on the pubic bone. Actually, sorry, the sun is really, I can't complain, but here. So about the attach, as I explained, the attach is with the pubic plate. Some surgeons, well, most of the surgeons use the sutures, and some others use screws or anchors. Actually, screws and anchors are really hard for the bones. It can be very painful. So generally, surgeons prefer to suture the device. It is not sutured inside the bone. It is sutured on the kind of skin that is covering the bone, actually. So it is sutured, and the device has to be kept against the belly in this upper position for a few weeks after surgery. So it will help this part to have natural attach that is called fibrosis. Fibrosis is like spider web, a natural biological spider web that the body creates to protect the body. So this kind of capsule will be created by the body in order to maintain this part against the pubic bone. So this is very important that you keep the device without using it for a few weeks under like against the belly in an upper position in order to have a good healing and a good fibrosis. So I will change again because here it's better. Healing time. Actually, some people ask us if it is possible to have the implantation during the phalloplasty. Actually, it's not, because there are very high risks of infection. So as we don't want you to have infection, we don't want to have the device explanted and reimplanted. So what we do is, depends on the surgeon. There are some stages of phalloplasty and creation of the neopenis. And after 6 to 12 months as a minimum, you can, if the healing time is completed, you can have the device implanted. But it's a minimum, and it's not recommended, and really, I don't think it's really possible to have the device implanted at the same time of phalloplasty. It would be an amazingly long and difficult surgery also. What is the material of the devices? Actually, the device is made of 100% biocompatible silicone, so it's completely adapted to the body to avoid any rejection of the device. Also, the plate is made of medical stainless steel, so it's completely biocompatible, and there is no risk of reject of the body by the body of the device. Obviously, you can have infection. The device arrives to surgery completely sterile. There are several manners of sterilizing the devices. So it's completely 100% sterile. So infection can come from the operation room and but not from the device itself. Also, the way you heal actually can provoke some infection. Generally, not because you have some drugs to help to prevent infection, and also some sanitary conditions that are preventing from any bacteria in the operation room. What kind of other questions did we have about lengths? I already answered this. We have different models, different lengths for each kind of model. So I repeat, malleable device with two kind of models, wide one and narrow one, from 25 centimeters to a minimum of 12. And if it's less than 12 centimeters of length, actually the surgeon can take out the cable, cut it or take it completely out in order to have a shorter size. And about this device, the inflatable one, we have four sizes, 12, 15, 18, and 21 centimeters. What is the durability of the device? Actually, this is a great question. It's very important to know. So the devices have theoretical life duration. So for the malleable one, we tested it on a machine and we talk about cycles. Cycles are up, down. This is a cycle. So to go to void, for example, if you have urethra lengthening, you need half a cycle, let's say. So this device now can afford 40,000 cycles. So it's an average of more than 10 years, actually, way more than 10 years. But the devices are 4 years old. So in the real life, we cannot say, but for cis-men devices, the life average life duration is 10 years, also between 7 and 10 years. About the inflatable device, as there are some smaller pieces like the valves here, and you have also a connection here, they can have a shorter life duration. So actually, this kind of device can hold on from 5 to 7 years of life duration. Obviously, I really hope this is not too much a problem this time. Please let me know, because I have no idea. I'm enjoying it, but I don't know about you. About the inflatable device, so it's 5 to 7 years. Of course, it can happen that the device is living way more. Some people tell us, well, I had my inflatable device for 15 years and now it just had a mechanical failure, so I want to change it to have a Zephyr device. So it really depends, and sometimes they have to be changed in 1 year or 2 years. So it depends on each person's reaction, body's reaction of the device. But basically, the studies show that it is 5 to 7 years for the inflatable cis-men devices, and as it is exactly the same technology for the trans-men device, we calculate it's an average of 5-7 years. So do we have any pictures? I know pictures, post-surgery pictures are very wanted. Actually, we absolutely don't have the right to publish any picture, and generally we don't even want people to send us pictures, because people have to consult their doctors to show the results. And sometimes some doctors accept or do have a page with the results. You can see these results on their page. But we do not publish results, as it is it would be violating the intimacy of the patients. Even if they are accepting, we don't want to publish this kind of thing. So maybe in between people, you can share private pictures to show the results. I'm sure it is happening, but we don't. I had a question about ejaculation. Actually, it is not possible to have ejaculation with this device. some people ask me if they can inject some. Oh, thank you, Matthias, about the sun. I'm glad to know it's not a problem because I'm enjoying it. No, it's not possible to inject any sperm or to have any ejaculation with the device. Of course, we know that with the excitation, you can have male or female, you have ejaculation. So this is something completely different from the device. So, of course, according to the kind of phalloplasty you have, there is pleasure, feelings, and sensations, but the device itself will not recreate all the natural behavior of a native penis. So I had a question about the urethra. Actually, some surgeons don't do, or some patients don't want the urethra lengthening for many reasons, because it can lead to many problems, and some people want to avoid this kind of problem. But when you have the urethra lengthening, actually the urethra is, so this is the device. Here is placed on the pubic bone, the pubic plate. So the urethra is coming under the device. Here you see, I don't know if it's quite clear. Here there is the passage for the urethra. To have it, this passage has been designed and created in order not the urethra to be completely smashed against the device and the skin. So the urethra is on the dorsal part of the device. That's it for the questions. I have one question by Andreas here. I implanted a malleable prosthesis in Pisa, Italy last September. Maybe you remember me. I do remember you, Andreas. Hi, how are you doing? It is good, working perfectly, but it would make a change to the internal silver core. Because it is semi-rigid, the part after the piece of silver, it always remains straight. On the tip especially, making life a little complicated. If you don't wear tight briefs, or at least something containing, it becomes embarrassing. Yes, actually, you're totally right, Andreas. This is the problematics with this malleable device. Malleable means semi-rigid, and so semi-rigid means that it is never completely flaccid, like it would be with this kind of device, and there is a rigidity, but if the silicone is not well cut, actually, it's not completely rigid on this part. And actually, if you only have if most of the prosthesis is only the inner rod, actually, yes, the tip can seem really, really hard, and the cable, actually, it's natural. The cable is made in order to be bent, but if it's too smooth, it will not keep straight. So we needed to have a rigid inner rod in order to help the erection. So I understand the problem. We made several inner cables, and the version you have actually from last September is the last one, and it is the best one we found in order not to be cut here, because we probably you heard we might have faced some breaks here because of the huge pressure the device had all the day. Actually, there is a huge pressure here in the flaccid position, so we changed the inner rod. Now the inner rod is not coming directly from the silver plate. It is starting just over here, just where the bending is actually, in order not to break. But yes, actually, I can understand that if you don't have a tight boxers or tightly underwears, it can be embarrassing. So I'm really glad, Andreas, that it is working for you. Hopefully you can someday have this device, which is way more comfortable in daily life. But thank you for your feedbacks. Um, you can also read some feedbacks like Andreas's on our Instagram. I think there are some interviews and testimonies of people, so it's quite interesting. Also, so now about the devices for phalloplasty. If you have any questions, no problem. And I will talk about the metoidioplasty now. So metoidioplasty is, so Srini is asking me, which one is better for trans men who want to do anal intercourse? Is it okay if I already had one of the other implants with 2 tubes? Hi Srini, I remember we had these conversations in the past months. Thank you for your question. Actually, the device that is the strongest, that has the strongest um, rigidity is the inflatable one, because the rigidity is really, really strong. Please always note that the phalloplasty is a very fragile member, so you have to take care of it. And also the prosthesis. So the prosthesis is well attached on the pubic bone, but it is important to take care during intercourse, not to be too maybe there are some techniques to maintain the phalloplasty here when you have intercourse, like this kind of anal intercourse, for example, in order not to have too big pressure on the pubic bone plate, actually, because there is always a risk of how do you say, arrachement, of breakage of this part, and it would be absolutely painful and terrible because you would have to have surgery again. So maybe you can have you can use the device, like holding the device, in order to avoid a huge pressure on this part. I hope I answer your question. Also, for is it okay if I already had one of the other implants with 2 tubes? Yes, absolutely. There is no problem. Many patients are not neo patients. Actually, they are not. It is not the first time they have implants. They used to have implant, a malleable one with 2 rods or only 1 rod, or this kind of device. This kind of device with 1 or 2 rods. So there is absolutely no problem to take out this device and insert this one. Yes, Srini, absolutely. I don't think there would be any drama. I think your surgeon might give you a recommendation. This one, right? Yeah. Actually, it depends also on if you're satisfied, I would say don't change the device until you have to change it. It's not like a pair of shoes you can change. It's more complicated, and I would recommend, until you don't have mechanical failure, don't change it, because you will have to wait some time before using it again after surgery. So the advantage of this one compared to this one, well, I said it already, but there is a preformed glands that is really helping for intercourse. It is giving a huge rigidity, because phalloplasty, compared to cis-men penis, doesn't have the spongeous body. The spongeous body is apart. It is coming, it's like coming around the urethra, and like it is coming this very close by the cavernous bodies, and it is finishing by a glans. But phalloplasty doesn't have this spongeous body, so it doesn't have a glans. So this is replacing the glans, and the glans actually in cis-men penises is helping for intercourse, for penetration, easy penetration. So this is nice because it is shaped and it is more realistic, but the idea of this is not to have a more realistic penis. First of all, it is to have a better help for intercourse. So this is the very good, shape, the very good. Forgot the word. I'm sorry. So you understood. This is a positive thing compared to this kind of device. Oh, Srini, okay. So you don't have device anymore. So probably what happened is that as they took out your first device, probably the phalloplasty has fibrosis. What I explained before, what it is. So it's not a problem. It's like as if you had a first implantation. So the surgeon will have to take out this fibrosis and then insert the device inside of the phalloplasty. So I think there is no problem. You should probably talk with your surgeon. May I ask you who it is? I'm not sure I remember. But yes, I don't think there would be any problem with your case, actually. So I was talking about the metoidioplasty device. Metoidioplasty is a surgery that is very interesting. Many people use the metoidioplasty as a first step to phalloplasty. And Srini, why? What happened? You can write to me if you want in private. We can check this. I didn't know you were not allowed it. So write to me and we will talk about this afterwards. No problem. So metoidioplasty might be a first step to phalloplasty because some people want to try to have a first step, a first physical. I hate the word. Sometimes it's very hard to find the good words. Metoidioplasty is like having a micro penis, and it's a way easier surgery than the phalloplasty, and it is way less invasive because phalloplasty is a neopenis using a part of the body, so part of the arm, of the back, of the legs, of the belly. So there are so many different kinds of phalloplasties, but they are using another part of the body to be created. So it can be very invasive. You have very huge scars that can be hidden, but it's not always the case. It's not so easy and it can be painful. And so sometimes people prefer to have metoidioplasty, at least to have a first step. Metoidioplasty actually, so it is, when you take testosterone, after some time, we have what we call a declit or hypertrophied clitoris. It means that the clitoris is getting bigger, sometimes bigger and longer, and it is composed with two cavernous bodies, exactly as a native penis, but the clitoris has a penis that never grew up. So we have these two cavernous bodies, and there is a suspensor ligaments that is cut, actually, and so we can take out the clitoris. I explain it I'm not surgeon, so I'm simplifying it a lot. The surgery is quite complex, but to simplify it, we just take out the clitoris and create the scrotum with the big lips. Do you call it like this in English? I don't know. So we create the scrotum, and we sometimes create urethra also, thanks to vagina mucosa. So actually, by taking out the clitoris, it makes like a small penis, and aesthetically it looks like a penis because it has a natural glans shaped. So it is very natural and less invasive than phalloplasty. But what we realized is that after some weeks, even if the results are quite interesting after surgery, after some weeks, the penis tends in shrinking, actually. So if the size was nice, like a few centimeters, 10 centimeters post surgery, it shrinks so much that sometimes the result is very small and it's quite deceptive. It's a big deception, and there is no way to open to enlarge it again. So what we did, on the basis of the regular malleable rod, what we did is create the same thing, but 4 millimeters of diameter. So we have two rods, very small ones, that are during the metoidioplasty, they are inserted inside the cavernous bodies of the clitoris. It seems very long, but actually, like the other one, there is a part of silicone and a part of cable inside. And according to the inner size, the surgeon can cut the silicone and insert this. It will help overall to maintain the length post-surgery, and also to move a little bit the penis, the metoidioplasty, in order to avoid standing, because this is the main part, the main interest of the metoidioplasty is to be able to avoid standing with a very naturally shaped penis. So this is the idea. Some people told us that they had intercourse with penetration with it. We don't have enough feedbacks to confirm that this is really possible, but probably if you use a big size, maybe it's possible. Also, after metoidioplasty, it is completely possible to have a phalloplasty, and if needed, this device can be taken out in order to create the phalloplasty and insert the device for phalloplasty. So this is it for the FTM devices. I hope I answered all your questions. For now, so in the US we're not present. In Canada, it's a very special situation, and we are very present in Europe, in England, in Western Europe actually, hopefully soon in Eastern Europe and Asia. All our surgeons, and Oceania also, they are sleeping right now, but in Australia and New Zealand, there have been surgeries in Australia already of this device, and in New Zealand hopefully soon. Alex Sanchez, yes, it will be available on the Facebook page, so no worries. Yes, Srini. So Srini is asking from Canada in French if people with metoidioplasty can have natural erection. What is the device bringing? Actually, what I was saying is that yes, there is a possibility to have a natural erection, of course, with the metoidioplasty, but it really depends on each person. The device is bringing length actually. So after some weeks, the meta is shrinking and you lose a lot of length. But if you insert this inside the cavernous bodies, it will keep the tissues open and it will not shrink so much. So this is what it is bringing actually. More than an erection, it is giving length to the metoidioplasty. I hope it answers your question. So I was talking about where we are available. In Oceania, so in New Zealand, they are hopefully they will be implanting soon, but for now no, because everything is on standby. I want to add also to show you here. So we have for vaginoplasty actually we have some stents that are not replacing the regular care post surgery, but actually this stent is inserted, it is filled in, it is inserted just post surgery in order to maintain the neovagina open and helping to have the inner walls completely inner walls sorry, I'm reading some comments at the same time. So when we have this device inside the neovagina, the inner walls will be in contact between each other, and it will help vascularization. So this is a discardable device, but I wanted to comment about it because it really does exist and it's important. So we have a question about Australia, Dr. Goosen. Actually, Adam, hopefully yes. I know 2 surgeries have been performed, but the surgeon didn't want to talk a lot about it. But yes, please, what you can do actually is talk about these devices to your surgeon, and they can contact us. But Dr. Goosen, yes, I hope you will be able to implant these devices. Hi, Harry. You know, I was just now about to talk about the electric device. I think you already asked that last week, right? In French? I don't remember. Actually, we are all now working about on a electric pump unit. So no, it will not be available this year or next year because first we have to finish the tests, and also the European regulations are very, very strict. So sometimes it takes more than a year to have the equivalence of FDA, but which is called CE, it's European certification. So it will not be available so soon, but hopefully within 2 years, I hope. But the idea is that don't wait for the electric pump. You can have the regular inflatable device, and when the electric pump is available, you will be able to have to have this part, so only the pump changed. So there will be a special connector so we will cut this part and insert the electric pump unit. So the idea is that it will ease the use of the device. I will not say any other word, but we are working on it. And whenever we have news, we will obviously let you know about it. But I'm really glad that you are asking, because it means that you are waiting for it. Matthias Racine, yes, we are working in Argentina. Actually, one person of our team is currently in Buenos Aires. I also live part of the year in Buenos Aires. So yes, we work in Argentina. For now, it's Dr. Lesta from Cordoba who has been implanting this device. And hopefully soon, a couple of places in Buenos Aires will be using this device. First of all, the Hospital Santoshani. If you want more information about local doctors, of course, you can write to us. You have to know that most of the time, all the time, the doctors are trained by the technicians, local technicians that I train, or that the surgeon from the company trains. And also, so they are never alone implanting, they know what they are doing. And whenever we can, we are also present during the surgery to be able to check if all the steps are well followed and if the device is well implanted and well prepared. So no worries about that. Any other question coming, or should I close? Already the sun is out, so let me know. If you have any questions after this live, of course, we will be very happy to answer. So on Thursday, I will be welcoming Dr. Sigurd Jansson here in this Facebook platform. He's currently living in Iceland, and he's working between Iceland and Sweden. So he's implanting these devices. First, he implanted a lot of malleable ones, and then since last summer, he came in France for a training, and but he will explain all of that. And he has been implanting the malleable device. So I hope you will be here to see this interview. He's a very good plastic surgeon, very good person, and so I hope you will enjoy his interview. Thank you very much for your attention, and have a nice day for the people who are in the west side in the United States, and have a nice evening for the ones who are in Europe. Bye bye.